Shalom Chaver, Tzvi broker with Rabbi Yeshua Gerzi, right? And one of the highlights and really the uniqueness of the work-inspired Chabura, right, is the fact, right, that it's not just Mar Makomos, it's not just sources, but we have this integration piece, right, which are called Avodas. And I know for some Chaver that might be something which, like, Avoda, what does that mean? Right? It sounds like a nice idea, but what does that practically look like? Perhaps you've never been part of a Chabura, you've never been part, right, of a Vad, which has integrated Avodas. So let's just speak a couple of minutes about what an Avoda really is.
So throughout the generation, globally, there's been, it seems, conversations of how do you bridge what you learn to your normative everyday living? How do you upgrade your normative everyday living with these ideas, these features of what we're being asked to live with or asked to live by? How do you bridge the head and the heart, so to speak, and action? So in the world specifically of Musa, there was an unbelievable stress in the cultivation and innovation of different ways to bridge the head and the heart. So for example, even when learning Mar Makomis, so we could learn a Mar Makom, we could learn a Gemara, but then instead of just moving on when you've understood what the Mar Makom is, within the world of Musa, there was actually a process. What does that Mar Makom mean to me? Does that Mar Makom work? Does it sit with me? Because the I in the picture of the learning makes a difference. So for example, if there's a Mar Makom but it doesn't sit with you, well, what's going on within you that this Mar Makom doesn't or does sit with you? So part of our learning on one side of the coin is not just learning the Mar Makomos, it's actually discussing the Mar Makomos with the emphasis, what does this mean to me? Because the I matters. And already that conversation of the I in the picture of learning the Mar Makomos changes the way that you experience it. It's not somebody just telling you something and you have to remember it. It's you mulling over these words on the page. And oh wow, have I ever been asked what that means to me? Do I matter? Does it bother anybody that I have a say? And the answer is yes, because if we want to make Torah real for us, we need to be involved in the coding process of our own experience of what a text says. Now, for example, do I agree with the text or do I not agree with the text? Maybe you don't agree with the text because society has told you not to agree with the text. So is that ideal? Is that not ideal? So there's one aspect of the Chabura where we give room for you to experience the text. So you can code it in your own language, which is something very important in learning in general. But then we have a slew of other different avodas, journaling, for example, a very favored method of getting to know where you are within this particular midah, this particular avoda, journaling, simchas chaverim, accountability, having the ability to have somebody you could work with. And the Musa world gave so many other forms of avodas as well that we tried to incorporate. And within the world of Chassidus, there were many different avodas as well. More pinimis, habata, which is, for example, a grounding technique, just to stop, to breathe, to feel the ground under your feet, developing environmental awareness, internal awareness. For example, writing your own tefillah. Again, in the world of Chassidus, creating your own tefillah. We write our own tefillah around a particular segment of teachings that we are learning and that we're trying to integrate. And to have at your desk, for example, at your work, to have even yichudim, to meditate on a particular Shem, visualizations. So the goal again is what? To try and not just leave the words on the page, but actually live them, that you can take these words and then through a slew of different techniques or different avodas, we can take those words and really allow ourselves to observe and absorb, and then really live them in our day-to-day living and notice the miraculous differences in our life as we integrate with life through doing all of these different avodas.
Amazing. And I think the key word that Rav Gerzi is describing here is personalization. Right? It's all about personalization. It's, you could have 10 people, 20 people. Baruch Hashem, we've had many people learning together. Each person has their own experience, right, of a Mar Makom and their own experience at work. And when you're sitting in a shir, right, or you're listening to a shir, wherever it is, it's nice, but it's giving that space to be able to consider, well, what does that actually mean for me? Like, what do I believe about that? And what's the relevance of that which I'm learning right now in my job, right, in my company, right, in my particular environment, right, with the clients that I'm dealing right now? It's all about personalization, right? And what Chabura does and what the Avodas do is that it allows you to be able to take that which you've learned, right? And you may have learned 50 times the same Marmakum, perhaps, but now you're able to personalize it for your own individual experience. And because the avodas are being done in the context of Chabura, you're able to do this with a support system. And that's so important. It's so important, for people that spend time, who are blessed to spend time in yeshiva, right? When you're in certain points of your life, you have that support. You have that support that's there, right? Everyone's doing the same thing. Then we go out to the workplace and we're involved, each one, right, in their own malchus, each one in whatever they're doing, right? And it can be challenging. It is challenging. And if you feel it's challenging, I validate that. It is challenging. And what the Chabura has done, and what the Chabura will do for you, is give you a place where you're able to learn healthy Torah, right? Nutritious Torah, to have these avodas and have the support so that you're able to apply it. You're able to apply it and Avodas Hashem come out of this series about how to work the way Hashem intended, a totally different person. We look forward to having you join with us. We start on December 24th, right? Make sure to sign up. We're looking forward to meeting you.